What's up guys, Josh from ThroughMyLens.com, and today we're talking about 22 things to do in the city of Portland, Oregon. I'm going to show you 15 spots to explore and 7 places to eat. Let's do it. Recommendation number 1 is the Portland Japanese Gardens and the International Rose Test Gardens. The Japanese Gardens in Portland take up 12 acres with 8 garden spaces and a small museum. This is a beautiful area to explore, and there's lots of places to see, like the Pond Garden, the Sand and Stone Garden, and the Flat Garden. It's an amazing place for both photography and for relaxation. After you finish exploring it, don't forget to walk across the street and see the International Rose Test Garden, which has over 650 different types of roses and is free to check out and walk around. Recommendation number 2 is Powells Books. Powells Books claims to be the world's largest independent bookstore, and it has over 6,800 square feet of retail space. It's located in downtown Portland, and it's such a fun place to wander around with lots of books, board games, magazines, and all sorts of different things to explore. There's even a cafe inside where you can get a drink and lots of tables where you can check out one of the new books you just purchased. Recommendation number 3 is Mill Ends Park. Mill Ends Park is a small urban space in downtown Portland that's the Guinness Book of World Records' smallest park in the world. It is really small, probably less than a square foot. The plants change often to go back at different seasons, and it even has a little plaque to commemorate the park. It's a short stop, but it's a fun part of Portland's personality. Recommendation number 4 is the Oregon Historical Society Museum. This museum was created in 1989, and it features 3 stories of exhibits on Oregon and its history. The main reason to go though is to see the Portland penny, which supposedly was used to decide the name of the city. In 1845, they were considering both Portland and Boston as the city's name, and 2 out of 3 flips of the penny made it so that the city became Portland. Recommendation number 5 is to ride the Portland Aerial Tram. This tram carries people from the Waterfront to the Oregon Health and Science University, but it's worth going up even if you don't need to go to the university. For a couple of bucks, you can grab a ticket and take a ride up to where they have an observation deck that gives you a great view of the city and Mount Hood in the distance if it's clear. Plus, the aerial tram is fun to ride and gives you great views of the city as well. Recommendation number 6 is McMenamins Kennedy School. The Kennedy School was an elementary school that opened in 1915 in the north part of Portland, but after being purchased by McMenamins, the school has been completely remodeled to include a 50-room hotel, multiple restaurants, a bar in the old boiler room, a cigarette lounge in the detention center, and a movie theater in the auditorium. It's a ton of fun to walk around and explore, or even to stay if you're staying in the city of Portland. Recommendation number 7 is the Lan Su Chinese Garden. Lan Su Chinese Garden is a place of relaxation that encompasses an entire city block in the Chinatown area of Portland. It features beautiful gardens, a tea house, and a few small ponds with koi fish. It's a very tranquil place to explore and to spend 30 minutes to an hour in the city. Recommendation number 8 is the McCall Waterfront Park. Portland is known as a city with a bunch of bridges. One of the best ways to see them all is just to walk along the water on this 36-acre park. It's a popular waterfront spot for bikers and joggers, and they often have events and fairs down by the water. Don't forget to see the White Stag Portland sign in the north part of the park near the Burnside Bridge. Recommendation number 9 is a visit to Voodoo Donuts. When you get to the north part of the park and you're near the Portland sign, then be sure to head inland and go to Voodoo Donuts. While people go back and forth on their love for voodoo, it's still a Portland institution, and you will always see people carrying the pink box through the airport. Voodoo Donuts is a small shop that's right across the street from the Keep Portland Weird sign, which is good for a few photos, and the donuts are unique and cheap, so you can try a few different ones. The very first time I visited Portland, I went there multiple times, but if you're a donut fan, be sure to also check out Blue Star, which is one of my personal favorites. Recommendation number 10 is a visit to Rocky Butte for sunset. Adventuring out from downtown Portland, Rocky Butte is one of my favorite spots in the city for sunset. This volcanic cinder cone has a park on top of it, and you can see Mount St. Helens and Mount Hood on a clear day. You can also see down into the city of Portland a little bit, but it's mostly covered by trees, and it's just a great area to hang out and relax and watch the sun go down. Recommendation number 11 is a stop at the Portland Grotto. Known as the Sanctuary of Our Sorrowful Mother, the Grotto is an outdoor Catholic garden which features a massive auditorium area with a large grotto cave. It also has shrines, a chapel, a meditation chapel that looks out over the city, and a peace garden. It's a beautiful area to explore near Rocky Butte and plan 30 minutes to an hour. Recommendation number 12 is to head out to Multnomah Falls and the Gorge. Heading east from Rocky Butte, if you're looking for a great half-day trip, consider going out to the Gorge, especially Multnomah Falls. This waterfall is one of the most visited destinations in the Portland area, and it's easy to see why. The two cascades with the bridge in between are very picturesque, and it's only a short walk to experience it. Because of that though, it is incredibly busy during the summer, so get there early, especially on the weekends. Recommendation number 13 is Cathedral Park and St. John's Bridge. Heading back into the city, St. John's Bridge spans the Willamette River in the north part of Portland, and it's an impressive bridge to see in person. Below the bridge on the east side is a beautiful park that sits in the bridge shadow, and it's an awesome place for a picnic or just to walk around and look at this impressive bridge. Recommendation number 14 is a hike to the Witch's Castle. In Portland's Forest Park area, there's a short hike that takes you down to the remains of an old house with an interesting history. You can read all about the history online, but now the house is pretty cool to see and to photograph since the plants have grown up around it and the stone structure is well maintained. It's a short hike through a beautiful part of Portland with a really interesting payoff, and it is part of a larger trail system if you have more time to explore. Recommendation number 15 is to go wine tasting in the Tualatin and Willamette Valley. You may not know this, but outside of Portland there are over 700 wineries, many of which specialize in Oregon Pinot Noir, which has become really popular over the last few decades. And you can be in wine country from downtown Portland in less than 45 minutes. Some of my favorite wineries are Hawksview and Ponzi, both of which have great wines and amazing views. Also, Tualatin Valley has a Topgolf as well, which is a ton of fun if you haven't done it before. With that, let's jump into the food recommendations, which is honestly one of the reasons why people visit Portland. First up, head over to Pips for some chai and donuts. In the north part of the city, Pips is a Portland staple, and you will often see people lining up for these donuts even before the shop opens. It's worth the wait though, as they make those small donuts that you often see at fairs, and they have many different flavors. My favorite is honey and sea salt. Also, they have a flight of handcrafted chais that are worth trying as well, but I usually just get the Smoky Robinson as that's my personal favorite. Food recommendation number 2 is Pine State Biscuits. Pine State Biscuits is a great spot for breakfast and lunch, mostly because of their awesome homemade biscuits and gravy. I've taken many people here and they are never disappointed. Be prepared to wait on the weekends though, as there's usually a line. I always get the Reggie myself now, but I've had half the menu and there is a lot to like. Food recommendation number 3 is Pok Pok. Pok Pok is a Thai and Southeast Asian restaurant with a large range of options, but which is most famous for Ike's Vietnamese fish sauce wings. These wings are marinated in fish sauce and sugar, then deep fried and tossed in garlic. They are incredible and one of the rare dishes that actually lived up to the hype for me. Food recommendation number 4 is Salt and Straw ice cream. It's hard to beat good ice cream, and Salt and Straw has risen to the top for me. With flavors ranging from honey lavender to almond brittle, there's something for everyone here. Plus they have 5 to 6 new flavors each month. I've even seen a menu full of Thanksgiving inspired ice creams in November. Go in, try a few samples, check it out. I'm sure you'll find something that you like. Recommendation number 5 is Huber's for a Spanish coffee. As one of the oldest restaurants in Portland, Huber's has become a hugely popular spot for the Spanish coffee spectacle they put on when they make your drink. After sitting down at the bar or a table and ordering the Spanish coffee, a bartender will come over and put on a 45-second show full of fire to make your cocktail. It's a lot of fun and it's incredibly popular, so you'll see these being made constantly all night long. Recommendation number 6 is to explore the Portland coffee scene. Portland is a popular spot for coffee, and I'm happy to say that I indulge in it every time I visit the city. Stumptown is of course one of the most popular spots since they have multiple locations and one is close to Powells Books, but there are a lot of great shops like Kova and Hart, which is probably my favorite. Regardless of where you go, you'll find a good spot to get a cup of coffee in Portland, and you'll probably take home a bag if you're like me. My last recommendation is to spend some time exploring the Portland beer scene. Portland is also a huge craft beer city, and honestly I can make an entire video on all of the beer to try here. Some of my favorites are spots like Deschutes, Breakside, and Hair of the Dog. One that I do want to share though is Ex Novo. They make great beer, and one of the things I really like about them is that all of the profits go towards charity. It's a cool spot to drink good beer and support a worthy cause, and be sure to let me know what your favorite brewery is in the comments as well. Alright, I think that's it. I hope this video wasn't too long, but I appreciate you sticking with me all the way until the end. If you have a spot that I left off that you love in Portland, be sure to let me know in the comments, and you can go to throughmylens.com to check out all of these spots and more. We will see you guys on the next video.